The Prime Minister also spoke, sir, about the need to continue Big Bang reform, continue this process. But a lot of people would look at various parts of his speech and say he's trying to justify these bitter decisions. But, you know, okay, FDI comes in, how does that change my life? Whereas the fact is the price increase in diesel, the cap on LPG cylinders, common people would say all of this hurts us. The Prime Minister is just trying to justify these bitter decisions, but at the end of the day, they pinch us and benefit big companies.
Well, I think that it'll be unfair to say that any of these decisions are going to benefit a limited number of people, or for that matter the corporate sector. Would we have been a better off country if everything had come to a grinding halt and diesel and petrol had to be rationed, food had to be rationed again? Would be a better off country if we didn't have power at all because there was nothing to fuel the power production? Would be better off if there was a severe supply constraint on most of essential goods that are now today very robustly sought in the marketplace. These are very, very fundamental issues. Now, of course, these issues have to be explained to the common citizen, which we will do. And I believe that what we are doing today is a major moral step to prevent our country from coming to a grinding halt and to ensure that the coming generations get the benefit of growth in this generation.
But now that Mamata Banerjee is gone, your government officially is in a minority. You will not be able to make any legislative changes on the floor of the House. You never had a majority in the Rajya Sabha. Now in the Lok Sabha as well, for any big ticket reform. In fact, Mamata Banerjee challenged the government to have a vote on FDI in retail, and if there is a vote, your government, sir, would be in a minority.
I don't think we should speculate about what may happen if there was a vote. There is no vote today, and I think that we shouldn't change the ground rules of politics. Whatever requires legislation will have to face legislation. Whatever does not require legislation obviously doesn't face legislation. But let me just say this to you. There might be many occasions in the future when legislation brought by us will, I hope, be supported by everyone. Now, I'm sure that food security is not something that Mamata Banerjee will oppose. I'm sure that the land reform is not something that Mamata Banerjee will oppose. So there are issues on which we can still agree. There may be some issues on which we disagree, and I think disagreement shouldn't be turned into hostility. They have their point of view, they have their constituency, they have their priorities, and obviously they've done some analysis that their decision is a correct one. It differs from our decision, so let us agree to disagree, but let's remain civil and let's remain cordial. That's not something that will cost a great deal of money.
How does the government intend to make up for the lost numbers? You've been speaking to all sorts of parties, most importantly Mulayam and Mayawati. Is there any plan at all to bring at least one of these two political parties as an official partner of the UPA from within the government, not supporting from the outside?
Well, let me just say that these are matters that are being handled by our top leaders, and I'm sure that they have a reasonable comfort level. We wouldn't be striking off on our own in such a confident manner if there wasn't some degree of comfort as far as relations with several groups are concerned, and indeed not just groups but individuals as well. So let's wait for the time when the test comes. We will prove our mettle. I'm quite sure that there will not be any problem as far as this is concerned.
You know, I interviewed a very senior BJP leader, and his take was that the Congress's strongest ally at this time is the Congress Bureau of Investigation. That's the sword that's hanging over the heads of Mulayam and Mayawati, which is why they're sticking by you even though they'd actually like to see you go.
I would just suggest that senior BJP leader, if that senior BJP leader has any knowledge of the law, should take out Vineet Narayan's case, read it and see what the Supreme Court has said and how jealously Supreme Court protects the jurisdiction that is given to itself and indeed the ring fencing that it's done of the CBI. And I think if after that they still want to give you this story, then I'm sorry, I would imagine that they're really scraping the bottom of the barrel because they have nothing else than reasonable to say.